My opponent, radical liberal Raphael Warnock, has called police officers gangsters, thugs, bullies, and a threat to our children. When I gave him the chance to apologize in our first debate, he declined. He's also said that you can't serve God and the military. What we need is someone who can bring together, that can help us get through this pandemic and rebuild our economy across this country
like
and right here in Georgia. That's what I'm fighting to do.
Unlikable,
do you want to put that into context?
This is why I think folks have turned off from politics very often. Because people will turn anything into a kind of cynical political argument. I was preaching that day from a very familiar Matthew text that says you can't serve God and mammon. It was a sermon about a moral foundation for everything that we do, and that when you have everything in order, that actually makes you a better soldier. It also makes you a better senator. And had Kelly Loeffler listened to the sermon rather than trying to make a cheap political point, she would not have used her advantage as a U.S. senator to make millions on a pandemic while playing it down to the people she was supposed to be representing.
I'm a Christian. I'm a person of deep faith. I don't need a lecture. But, you know, here's what's at stake. The future of our country hangs on this state having free, fair, trusted elections. And President Trump has encouraged Georgians to get out and vote.
Bro, she is so unanimated. It's crazy. She's like a robot.
Folks to trust the radical liberal Raphael Warnock has partnered with Stacey Abrams in these voter suppression conspiracies when, in fact, we have record turnout in our state year after year. And, you know, it's unfortunate that the focus is on a debate about who won the election when this process is still playing out. And President Trump has every right to every legal recourse.
Bro, this is when you have a big city psycho try to fucking play the Donald Trump populism game. It's just not working. No matter what farm you grew up on, you fucking weirdo. You just sound like a robot, literally trying to repeat Trump lines.
Thank you so much. Senator Loeffler, when you received the private briefing regarding the coronavirus pandemic, you dumped millions of dollars of stock in order to protect your own investments. And then weeks later, when there came an opportunity to give ordinary Georgians an extra $600 of relief, you said you saw no need and called it counterproductive. Why do you think it's counterproductive to help ordinary Georgians in the middle of a pandemic?
Well, thank you for that question, because I've been completely exonerated. Those are lies perpetrated by the left-wing media and Democrats to distract from their radical agenda.
Americans are such dumb fucking doo-doo brain cunts, though, that they would literally vote for this idiot Kelly Loeffler. Like, I could totally see American Republicans still voting for Kelly Loeffler, despite the fact that she's a fucking robot.
This is how she spent her career before she went to the Senate. This is what she's been focused on. Now that she's in the Senate. She was only there 3 weeks. I'm not sure she was fully unpacked when she started dumping millions of dollars of stock trying to protect herself.
Senator, you have 30 seconds.
Well, predictably, you've just heard more lies from radical liberal Raphael Warnock, who wants to distract from his own words, calling police officers gangsters, thugs, bullies, and a threat to our children, saying that you can't serve God and the military. If the Democrats win, they will defund the police. They'll keep our country locked down.
No, she's not text-to-speech. My fucking TTS has more emotion than this fucking robot, dude.
My opponent, radical liberal Raphael Warnock, would be a rubber stamp for Chuck Schumer because, you know, he did call police officers gangsters and thugs. He said that we should empty the prisons and end cash bail. He won't keep our community safe. That's what I'm fighting for.
Brian Kemp is so stupid for appointing her. She's so bad. They really should have appointed Perdue to this position and then found someone else to take over the other seat. Like, why did they do this?
While we're providing relief, I think it's time for us to start thinking about an infrastructure program here in this country that will repair our roads and our bridges, begin to build green energy and green energy jobs with a livable wage.
I think you'll see why I like Warnock after this debate, by the way.
To lead into the future.
And in fact, I voted twice on the Senate floor in recent months to support a package that Democrats have blocked, that Nancy Pelosi has now confirmed that it was playing politics with Americans' lives and livelihoods. She's held up targeted relief that would have gone to hospitals, to schools, to families, to small businesses. And my opponent, radical liberal Raphael Warnock, would be a rubber stamp for Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi as they try to use this pandemic to put the costs on the back of hardworking Georgians in the form of high taxes. And I'm not going to stand by and let that happen. I'm going to make sure that we
I'm going to lose my
serve
fucking
our
mind. The
families.
Nancy
This is right here in
Pelosi line
Georgia.
is fucking actually powerful.
Lisa,
but
it's your turn to ask
again,
a question.
there's such
Senator
fucking
Loeffler, you have called
indecent,
yourself the most conservative
subhuman, vile scum.
richest U.S.
It's
senator.
Mitch McConnell who's holding up aid, you fucking
$5
psycho!
I have spent every single day working for Georgians. I'm 100% about Georgia. That was my calling to public service. I was blessed to live the American
no
dream.
way. America is too sexist to vote for this lady. There is no fucking way. I would go so far as to say they're more sexist than they're racist, dude. There's no fucking way.
Just as Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have done, holding up relief for political reasons, and I think that's completely wrong.
Bro, if the Democrats don't fucking run ads showing how much of a goddamn robot she is, like they're losing out. Even though Warnock's campaign has been largely positive, it's actually really interesting from that point of view. We'll take a look at it in a second.
Kelly Loeffler's out of touch. She's thinking about people who are like her. And I'm okay with the fact that she wants to make money. I just think you shouldn't use the people's seat to enrich yourself. You ought to use the people's seat to represent the people.
Look, these are more lies from radical liberal Raphael Warnock, someone that has invited Fidel Castro, a murderous dictator, into his own church.
You need look no further than Matthew 25. I'm a Matthew 25 Christian. That's what I am. I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was sick and you visited me. Love your neighbor. And for me, that means you don't get rid of your neighbor's health care, particularly in the middle of a pandemic.
I'm not going to be lectured by someone that uses the Bible to justify abortion, to attack our men and women in the military.
Yeah, no, you're married to a Fortune 500, the CEO of the fucking, right now, the CEO of the New York Stock Exchange, right? And a fucking millionaire, but yeah, you know more about the Bible than a fucking reverend, dude. Oh, these people are so disgusting. Reverend from MLK's church, too. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
An apartheid state.
Yo, I hate
that is
this
wrong
shit.
for America.
He
And
called
I'm gonna
Israel an
continue to make
apartheid
sure
state, by the
Georgians
way.
understand that that is him in his
He's
own
fucking
words.
based.
You've criticized the election process as well. So tonight, can you tell us where your loyalty lies as you vie to represent the state of Georgia? Is it with Governor Kemp or President Trump?
Lisa, my loyalties are with Georgia. I had a calling to public service to serve the people of Georgia. Look, I have lived the American dream. I want to make sure every Georgian can do that. Free enterprise is the way to lift everyone up, not socialism, not
And
high
bro, I
taxes.
see how people get fucking racist towards white people. Like I've never felt the feelings I'm feeling right now. Like
I'm making
her,
sure that
her
Georgians
voice,
know
her
what's at
words,
stake
like
on January
her
5th,
attitude,
our way of life
especially
right
when
here in
compared.
Georgia will
Especially when
radically
compounded
change
on top of like, especially when compounded on top of her like background as like such a fucking psychotic rich vampire. Oh my gosh, she's like a condescending robot, a condescension robot. They just keep saying the same talking points over and over again. I get it now. That's crazy. I've never felt this way before, dude. I think I'm racist against the rich, dude.
They want to radically change our country, and their agent of change is radical liberal Raphael Warnock, someone that has said to reimagine police, that is endorsed.
But they're wondering when in the world are they going to get some COVID-19 relief? They haven't gotten any from Kelly Loeffler in months. And when she had a chance to stand up for ordinary people, she thought $600 was too much. Meanwhile, she was busy dumping millions of dollars of stock, profiting from a pandemic. Who does that?
Say it's not Christian-like.
So I am wondering.
Use your background as a reverend. You have authority with God. Say she's not a good
and I
Christian,
think
and
that
everybody
too
knows it.
often, I'm a pastor. And so when I think about these issues, I think about the people that I've had to stand with.
Bro, you're in Georgia. Just say you spoke to God. It's gonna be a fucking sweep, dude.
They're concerned about
If he was like, I'm a reverend, I got direct access to the big man upstairs, and he told me not to vote for Kelly Loeffler.
She can't explain why she wants to take away people's health care. She knows that that junk health care plan that she rolled out has a loophole in it big enough to drive a Mack truck through.
Bro, I swear to God, like, this is a lizard, dude. This is a lizard. Like, this is not a human.
Look, you've just
This is a
heard
lizard.
radical liberal Raphael Warnock lie about my record.
The land of the free is the mass incarceration capital of the world. We warehouse 25% of the world's prisoners. And people on both sides of the aisle know that our current criminal justice system needs reform. And we saw that this summer, a multiracial coalition of conscience pouring out into American streets. And what did Kelly Loeffler do? She used her enormous privilege and power as a United States Senator to pick a fight with the black women on her team who know what it's like to grow up in a community where you have to have two talks with your children, one about the birds and the bees, and the other about what happens if you're pulled over by police officers.
He's too good, dude. I hate it.
In general.
Been invited to speak at their all that worse.
Services.
There's not a racist bone in my body. I have worked to bring communities together my entire life. He's called on Americans to repent for their worship of whiteness. He's called Israel an apartheid state and said that we should end military assistance. He's compared Israelis defending themselves against Palestinians. He's compared them to birds of prey.
By the way, motherfuckers still think he's bad on Israel, by the way, in my community. Remember, by the way, I got fucking people, by the way, who still, by the way, think he's bad on Israel, by the way.
What's at stake is the future of our country, our freedoms to live.
You know she wants to pull off like a Emmett Till 2.0. 100%. Everything she's doing is like literally teetering along the lines of like, look, I'm a white lady, and Raphael Warnock wants to fucking open up the prisons. You think it's a fucking accident that all of these sentiments are based around the lines of Raphael Warnock hates the cops, wants to open up the prisons. If you've looked at any of her fucking attack ads, you would recognize it in a goddamn heartbeat. You don't say oof Hazan to me when you don't know what the fuck is going on here. Every single fucking line from her end, from her campaign, has been about how black Raphael Warnock is and how the black pastor Raphael Warnock absolutely without a doubt wants to fucking open up the prisons and make your communities unsafe. That's precisely what this campaign is tailored around. I'm losing my mind, dude. That was fucking brain cancer, dude. That was so bad. All right, first of all, first things first, I hope you got a better understanding of what Raphael Warnock represents. Some of the things he said and some of the things he would not say. The problem here in the state of Georgia is that, at least according to people that understand these races, in order to win in the state of Georgia, you got to win at least, as a Democrat, you got to win at least 30% of the white vote. And this state, which is historically had, or at least in its inception, had a very interesting pathway for prison abolition and for a free state, a state where you could not have slaves, has, of course, turned around and has become something entirely different throughout time. Having said that, there are a lot of black people in the state of Georgia, and there are a lot of religious people in the state of Georgia, people that have absolutely changed their party affiliation throughout time and have turned this into a solidly Republican state. Now, that might change. That's why people like Stacey Abrams are profoundly important. With all that they've done in voter outreach and all the initiatives they've done, trying to get as many people to register to vote as possible. Unfortunately, it's not, as is the case with any other race, this is not a race about who's better, because it's very clear who's better. I mean, if we were to look at this on its merits, why the fuck wouldn't this be a clear defining victory for someone as well-versed in the matters he speaks of, that is personal hands have touched the issues that he speaks of in an effort to solve some of these problems like poverty. You got someone like Raphael Warnock, who is very obviously and very clearly knowledgeable on the issues and has a personal experience on the issues he speaks of. But that's not what this race is about. This race is, in some ways, a good test on the theory that maybe just churning out talking points and like a lifeless husk, as long as they are the right talking points that Republicans want to hear that correspond to their own personal biases, could get you to win an election, even if you are the most horrifically unlikable person on the planet. Now, Perdue never wanted to show up. At least Perdue did not think like he needed to show up to this fucking debate. And he's right. These motherfuckers can win in the state of Georgia without showing up to a single debate. They got millions and millions of dollars and they're pumping ads about how John Ossoff is a radical Marxist, about how Raphael Warnock is a radical liberal Raphael Warnock who hates cops and hates the military. Kelly Loeffler did not need to show up to this debate. And she still did. Did a lot of people watch this debate? I don't think so. I don't think a lot of people are going to watch this debate. Debates are notoriously, at least for the presidential election, debates are notoriously not significant. All I'm going to say is don't get too attached to this notion that like a good person who's honestly kind, who actually very clearly deserves to win this race is going to ever win. Okay? Don't think that. The world is fucking dark. It's a horrible place. I'm sorry. Bad things that could likely happen often does end up happening.